Hey, Scott Beckford here. From June 18th to 26th, we're hosting a series of BRICS regional meetups in 15 cities across the country. And I'd love to invite you to join us. If you're a listener to this podcast, if you're a mortgage broker, enjoys connecting with others, sharing ideas, having honest conversations, what's working in today's market, these events are for you. They're completely free. Or maybe you're just curious about becoming a mortgage broker. What I'd encourage you to do is go check out brxmeetups.com. There's a sign up page there. Tell them you heard about it from the podcast. There is no pitch. This is just meeting some great people. We would love to have you out to those. And we've been doing these now for the last couple of years. And we decided, you know what? There's lots of great mortgage people that we know. And I know lots of people at different mortgage companies. I thought this would be a great way for us to connect in our local community. So if you're interested, check out brxmeetups.com. And I hope that we see you at one of them. Most salespeople think that the solution that they need is a better tactic or script. But what if the problem is not actually a tactic, but a mindset block? Today on this episode, I talked to Hendon, and he shares how he used a coaching program to help people with meditation increase their sales by 160%. I know that sounds crazy, but honestly, as a guy who doesn't practice meditation very well, I 1,000% believe it, because I believe that if you get the mindset right, the tactics, you will figure out the how. But it's not enough to just say you need to meditate. In this episode, Aaron breaks down some specific tactics that you can do to apply this right now in your business. We talk about the connection between stress and performance. We talk about how training your attention, it's your agency of attention. Your attention is really important, and we make this very practical for you. I love this conversation with Aaron, and there's also links if you want to check out what he's up to in the show notes. Hey, before I jump into this episode, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, OwnWell. OwnWell is an amazing tool for Canadian brokers to create these reports on a monthly basis that your customers can use to find out what their buying power is, or home equity, what they have for mortgage options. It also, since it has your data, it also finds opportunities for you in your data. It's very powerful. Check them out at ownwell.ca/Scott and check out this conversation with Aaron. Hey, Aaron, welcome to the show.
Scott, thank you so much. I'm glad we finally got all the tech worked out, and I get to be here.
Yes, it was amazing. The opportunity for patience getting this working this morning. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Before I got some stuff I want to ask you about. You got some really interesting perspective, as well as you've had some success with combining meditation and sales, which is not something that you hear a lot of, which we're going to dive into. But before we even get there, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and how we ended up here?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm originally from New York, and I went from New York to Albuquerque, and from Albuquerque to Phoenix, and from Phoenix to Seattle, Washington. And now I live on a small island off the coast of Seattle. So it's the size of Manhattan, but 10,000 people. So
okay, nice. Tell me about your professional background. So you're in real estate, and then there's also the mindset meditation stuff. So maybe walk me into that part.
Yeah, sure. I got into real estate 13 years ago. And, I don't think anyone gets into real estate because they've always wanted to be into real estate, and that's not like some kid's dream. But it's entrepreneurial enough to be interesting, and it's customer service enough to be interesting. And, I've been a six-figure agent every year. Love it. It's great. I'm a managing broker now, so I have a team of agents with EXP. And I'm always interested in training. I've been leading transformational leadership programs for about 30 years through a company called Landmark. And I love that. I love anything I have, any way to empower people, elevate people's performance, I'm in. If you can free people up to be more expressed, I'm in. So I've been doing that. And I was training my team. And at one point I got frustrated because I turned to my partner and I said, Christine, I don't know what else to train them in that would have them produce more results other than have them dial more. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really want to train them to dial more. I was like, there's plenty of training and dialing and scripts and blah, blah, blah. And doesn't resonate for me. So I don't want to do it. So I put that aside. We trained them how we trained them, and they got what they got, but it was incomplete for me. And at some point I got turned back into what happened really was I was at a retreat with my wife, and with my wife, I love my wife, 28 years, got two grown kids. They're great. Speak to me, speak to each other. Mm-hmm. I had 5 deals in escrow while we were at this retreat. Good business is good. And I was stressed. I was really anxious, really anxious. And the anxiety was really inconsistent with the circumstances. I had these great circumstances, and now I had all this anxiety. I realized that I had no agency of my attention. My attention would go wherever it wanted. I couldn't control where I rested my mind. It kept going down worst case scenarios. I was like, well, that's not good. What if I develop some agency over attention? And I knew that's what meditation did, because I've been meditating since I'm about 20, on and off, but mostly off. So I got back into it. I got back into meditation. And I realized that this was a missing piece for my sales team. I thought everyone talks about mindset. You talk about
Yep.
mindset, but no one says, here's the recipe, do
Yep.
this, take these actions, and you'll wind up with a powered mindset. So I got interested in that and got certified as a mindfulness meditation instructor. And about halfway through my training, my anxiety disappeared. And I thought that was wild because look, I said I'm from New York. I'm a New York Jew, which means worrying is in my DNA. It's genetic for my people.
Yeah.
We have a saying, things are never so bad they can't get worse.
I've heard that before.
That's how I live my life. That was the credo of my family. Anyway, it disappeared through meditation. And I thought, that is intense. I need to put this together. So I put together a 9-week training and ran some cohorts of it and refined it. And then last January 2025, I put my team through it, 9 weeks of meditation training, and they increased their year-over-year sales by 160%.
Right.
And the agency retention went up by 86%, and the customer referrals went up by 50%, which I thought was super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this is good. I've had about 300 or 400 people through the cohort since 2025. Woman who now owns the office where I used to work, the KW office where I used to work. I'm with EXP now. I was with KW at the time. And the woman who owned that office did my program because we're still close. And she texted me and she said, okay, Aaron, I don't know how this works, but we just closed more business this quarter than we did all year.
Wow.
I did my first 6-figure quarter out of this. And so I got really interested in, okay, now I didn't train them in scripts. I didn't do objection handling. I didn't do any tactic or strategy change, no new lead source. All they was present. I was just training them to be present.
Mm-hmm.
And present people outperform stressed people. I don't know what else to say about it. That's the way it is. And, and there is a wealth of science behind this. So I don't know how I'll let you ask the next set of questions, but because I could just talk about this for 40 minutes. But there's real science behind why this is. And it makes sense when you slow down enough to think about it too.
Right. Yeah. One of the things I think about is when you get frustrated or stressed or anxious, you get dumber. So even if there's a solution in front of you, the statistics show, or the science shows, you're going to get dumber. So if you want to get dumber, go into that anxious stress state, and the obvious solution, or the one that you won't even see it. And so you're going to stay there.
Well, I love that you said it that way, Scott. It's so good. I'm going to steal this from you because it's so good. Because here's how meditation increases performance. Okay. It's directly connected. So first, the science behind it is clear. Like, you're growing your prefrontal cortex and you're shrinking your amygdala. The way working out resistance training grows muscles, meditation changes your brain physiologically, not spiritually, not woo-woo. Physically changes your brain so you're more rational. And here's what happens. Listen to this logic here. So the only thing that produces results is acting, right? You don't meditate and have sales fall into your lap. That's not what we're talking about. The only thing that produces results is action. And if you want new results, you have to take what kind of actions?
New action.
New actions, right? Period. End of conversation. So you can't do the old actions. You need new actions if you want new results. And at the same time, you will only act on things you see to act on. You can't act on things you don't see to act on. So if you need to take new actions, you need to see something new.
Right.
And meditation literally has you see things newly. It just has you see things in a new light and new things. And that's the name of the game there, is like you just said, you get dumber when you're stressed. You don't see the opportunities in front of you when you're stressed.
Right.
You see them when you're present, and then you can act.
Okay.
And
I love this conversation so far. This is so good. Okay. So I want to get into a little bit of tactical, because
Sure.
I do like to make this tactical. So
Sure.
I'm behind you in terms of, I understand that there's science behind this. You've got, not only that, you've got your own data set that you've used,
Yeah.
but okay, somebody who's listening to this, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by meditation? Because
Good.
if I'm honest, I'm a massive
Great.
mindset nerd, but I
Yeah.
struggle with meditation. I
Great.
struggle with not.
So good.
And so, yes, like
Yeah.
that would be for sure. This is an area of weakness of mine that I am
Yeah.
underdeveloped.
Well, the first thing is, what you think meditation is only the slightest sliver of what meditation is. So most people think meditation is
Yeah. Yeah.
or emptying the mind, sitting cross-legged on the floor. Right. Right. Don't just do something, sit there. That's accurate. That is a way to meditate, but it's not the only way. And there's a utility in doing it that way. It's like going to the gym and you're actually blasting no biceps, so you're going to get that muscle.
Mhm.
But you can get the results by just bringing yourself to the present when you're doing the dishes or when you're eating, or meditation could look like, or the results of meditation could be gotten. That's what the way I should say it accurately, by sitting down in the morning and having a cup of coffee and noticing the warmth of the cup in your hand and the aroma, and then looking at the steam as it comes off and how it hits the light in your kitchen. And then what does it feel like as you bring it to your mouth? And you do that, forcing yourself into the present, creating the opportunity. No music, no one talking to you, no iPhone with you, just doing the thing you're doing. Doing the thing you're doing and noticing what it feels like to do the thing you're doing, sitting, driving, having coffee, whatever it is, slowing down, moving out of system 1 thinking to system 2 thinking.
Can you define that for me? If anybody
Sure.
that's not,
System
I've
1
heard it
is
before from
yeah,
Adam. I can't remember who I heard it from, Adam Grant or somebody.
yeah.
But
They're quoting Daniel Kahneman, who is a psychologist who won the Nobel Prize in economics for inventing cognitive biases. So cognitive biases
yeah,
as,
heuristics, shortcuts that we make in order to make decisions that sometimes serve us, but sometimes don't.
that was him.
Yeah.
That's Daniel Kahneman, and his partner, Amos Tversky, invented those. He talks about the brain having system 1 thinking, which is fast, heuristic using thinking. System 2 is slow, logic, reasoning. We're talking to mortgage brokers and real estate professionals. You know this. People buy emotionally and then use reason to justify the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
System 1 is in charge. System 1 gives us our actions. And it was developed through natural selection. The bush moves, assume it's a tiger, and run.
The person who didn't died and didn't
And
reproduce.
didn't get to reproduce. Their genetics did not move on. That is exactly how our brains got developed that way, right? So here we are running around system 1 thinking, system 1 not even really thinking, just having thoughts, reactions, and slowing down, moving into what does this cup of coffee feel like, smell like, taste like, what's it like? And if you did that for 5 minutes, silence, just present to this, that would be the same result in the brain as meditating.
Right.
Okay. Now, here's the thing that nobody thinks about meditation. That's what everyone gets wrong, and why learning to meditate on the apps doesn't really work. Because most people I meet and talk about this aren't anti-meditation. It's a good idea. They're like you. They're like, it's a good idea, and I'm weak at it, or I should be better at it. It lives like
Yeah.
flossing, like it's a good idea. I'll get to it. But the thing that what people miss about meditation is they think it's about emptying the mind, and it's not. It's about returning. So the metaphor that works for this is, you ever train a puppy to stay in a box? You get a puppy and you put him in a box, and it's
I haven't, but
Okay.
I suspect it would be challenging.
Yeah, you train a puppy to stay in the box or stay in the crate by putting them in the crate or putting them in the box, and then when they leave, you pick them up and you put them back in the box, right? And its job is to get out, and your job is to put them back, and be great about it when you put them back. Be really sweet and kind and loving to the dog, and the dog gets out and you put him back. In fact, you can't train the dog to stay in the crate unless it tries to get out. It has to get out for you to train it to stay in. You can't train a dog not to bark unless it's barking, right? You have to catch it doing the thing you don't want it to do. Well, when you meditate,
That's a head trip right there. I'm going to let you keep going, but there's some depth to that statement that you just said, and a perspective shift that people will come back to it. But sorry, keep going. I love this.
any training, when you train phoners, train your people on the phone, you have to hear them say the wrong thing. And your new agents or the new brokers that you train, they all come in and they want to know the perfect script, don't they?
Yeah.
They want to know everything there is to say. And you say to them, I can't tell you that. You need to learn that. You need to learn it by saying the wrong thing. You learn to ride a bike by falling off the bike.
Yep.
You can't learn to do it without doing it wrong. That's how human beings learn. Meditation is super simple. You just, for example, you would close your eyes and you just breathe, and you're keeping your attention on the breath. And you breathe in once and breathe out, and now you're making a list. Good. Smile a little and come back to the breath. Now you take another breath in, and now you're finishing an argument you had with some guy 3 weeks ago on the internet. And I know what I should have said, and now you're gone for a while. But as soon as you notice you're gone, you just put that puppy back in the box. You bring your attention back to your breath.
Yeah.
And you do that for 5 minutes. And it's never going to get better. You're never going to do it better than that. You're never going to get more than 3. I've gone to meditation retreats, 10 hours a day, meditating, like 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., silent meditation for 10 days. I've done that whole thing. It's fabulous if you're down with it, but unnecessary for what we're talking about. And in those hours that we spent meditating, maybe 10 minutes an hour was no thought. Everything else was random thoughts and coming back. The muscle is coming back, not leaving. There is no avail. You do not have the option called don't have your mind wander. That's not an option you get.
Yeah.
This device, the Dalai Lama doesn't have an empty mind when he meditates. That's not where we're going. We're going to develop the muscle called returning. And mindfulness really in Sanskrit, if you translate the original word, it means remembering to be present.
That's good.
And you can't remember unless you forget. Yeah, forget. You have, and the degree to which you beat yourself up or make yourself wrong for forgetting anything is enormous compared to the amount you celebrate remembering. And that should be reversed. Celebrate remembering. You remember to come back to the breath. Okay, good. And that you're not meditating. So that's a big misconception about meditation, that I'm going to clear my mind and sit here with empty. No, you're not. You're going to sit there and watch your thoughts and keep coming back to the breath. And maybe you won't even get a whole in and an out. You'll just get an in. And then your mind goes, am I doing this right? And you'll notice, am I doing it right? You come back to the breath. The more you come back, the bigger that muscle of your prefrontal cortex is growing, and the smaller and thinner your amygdala is getting. You're moving out of fight, flight, fright into rest and digest. You're changing your physiology. You're growing your brain the way you would grow muscles. And it is not so that you feel better after you meditate. You're not doing it to get the experience of the 10 minutes. You're doing it so that when your microphone breaks, where you can't get the camera on, or that client.
What do you say? This is oddly specific.
Yeah, sorry. Or the client goes to, or you find out they bought a car 3 days before closing. You don't lose your shit.
Yeah.
That you can be, okay, that's what reality is. That's what's happening now. And I can breathe and feel my feet on the ground. And I know that I'm okay. And I have tools to handle the stress that's inherent in our careers and our families. And I can be present and available for all of it. And you are exponentially more effective when you're present.
Right. I mean, we live in the age of distraction. So, okay, I love this idea. Just put the puppy in the box, or use your breath as sort of the centering point. Is there any other strategies or suggestions you have? Is there, because you said it's just one slip, thinking I'm going to lay there and go, or sit there and go, is one. Is there any other techniques that you think people would find useful?
I train people for free. So if anyone's interested, I have live cohorts that go all the time, but you can find meditation training in every city in the world for free. I don't charge for mine. I do it on a sliding scale, pay whatever you want. That's common in the mindfulness meditation space, that you should not have to pay someone to train you just to meditate. And then there's a lot of different ways to do it. There's walking meditations, eating meditations. You can just commit.
What is your favorite? Okay. What has been your favorite meditation?
I do start with breath. I have a mantra meditation that I do. I do also what's called loving kindness meditation. And that's really challenging sometimes, where you are sending loving kindness to yourself, to others, to strangers, people you love, and people you disagree with. And, we could get into the woo of it all, but you are innately kind. Human beings are innately kind. And then we layer all kinds of protection and armor over that. But when you can generate being loving and kind to yourself, look, there's no downside to being kind to yourself.
Right.
And, mostly we are ridiculously hard on ourselves. Mostly we are in the school of thought where if I beat myself up hard enough, either I will finally figure it out, or if I beat myself up enough, they won't be able to hurt me.
Right.
And neither of those, look, if either of those were going to increase your performance, they would have already, because you practiced your whole life at that. Let's just try a little kindness. Let's just try being nice to yourself.
Some compassion for
Yeah, some
yourself.
compassion for yourself for being where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the meditations. But the practice that I find most useful is taking a breath or two and just connecting with, this is the way my feet feel on the ground. Connecting with the way my body feels, because the mind time travel. Your mind is always in the past, relitigating, or in the future, avoiding something,
Right.
or striving towards something. Either way, striving or avoiding the future, relitigating the past, regretting or reminiscing about the past. Either way, your mind is rarely here now. You got to consciously bring it here now. To get it here now, because it's not going to be. Your brain is a threat prediction machine. It's all it's doing is looking for threats. So if you don't control your mind, if you don't express any agency over your attention, it is going to default to keep you alive. Your brain is designed to have you survive, and it is awesome at it. It is not designed to have you thrive.
Right. It's about
And
survival.
It's total survival. And most people are going through their jobs, surviving their jobs and surviving their families, and, versus actually taking a moment and breathing and going, oh.
One of the phrases I really liked that you'd shared was this idea of agency of attention. Can you just maybe break that down for me so that
Sure.
our listeners can understand it?
Yeah. So, you said you're a high agency guy, right? Like, you have the choice about how you're going to show up. You get to, right? And that very much is what I would call agency of intention. You have chosen your goals. You've chosen your future. You've created your targets. You have an intention to double the company, or you have an intention to be present with your family at dinner. No question that we have, especially anyone listening, drivers, high Ds, high, Cs, like people that are producers have agency of intention for sure, right? They're able to set their intention where they want it. But the execution of your intention depends on agency of attention. What are you going to put your attention on? Plenty of times you have an intention to be with your family, but when you're there, you're checking emails or thinking about something else. Your attention is not yours. And there is a $1 trillion a year industry designed to steal your attention. You have the most distracting device ever invented in your hand, not even in your pocket. I mean, tell the truth. That thing is in your hand most of the time. Mm-hmm. And if it's not, your attention is on it anyway. So locking it up is maybe a symptom cure. Maybe, they have the blocks and the locks for your phone now, and you put it in a bag, but it's still, your attention is still all over it because you haven't trained your brain to go where you want. So we didn't finish the dog metaphor, but the dog metaphor is perfect, because when you train a puppy really well, you get a well-trained dog. Mm-hmm. You get your best friend. You get a dog that won't bark at the mailman, right? Like my dog. I don't have a trained dog. You get a dog that, but if you don't train your dog, you get a feral dog. You get a dog that barks, squirrel, every little thing. And that's the way our brains are, because we haven't trained them. Mm-hmm. Our brain is squirrel is, oh my God, what happens if this thing happens? And what if this thing happens? And what if this happens? And I have to do this. And we don't have any say about our attention, about where it goes. And that's not surprising given the amount of work you've put into training it.
Right.
Right? It's not like, oh, I didn't train my dog. I can't believe it's barking. Why is it barking? Well, because I didn't spend any time as a puppy training the thing. And I don't spend any time as an adult dog training her. I just let her bark because it's easier than training her. Mm-hmm. She doesn't do it enough to make it a problem for me. And most of us have enough results.
That's very interesting. So so there's several different strategies when it comes to meditation. And you'd shared that, the people that you'd put through this program had done 160% more production. Is there any other advice, or if somebody's listening to this and they say, I've tried meditation before, but I'm speaking to myself here. I tend to have the monkey mind that's just like going all the time. And what's the word? I am very outcome driven. So then I feel like I'm not succeeding at it. versus thinking about this wrong. It seems to me that my thinking is just put the puppy back in the box and don't worry about, and I will always get back out again.
That's right.
And it's like, that's
That-
just the game is put the puppy in the box. It's not, the puppy
100%.
never leaves.
That's success. I mean, I always tell my students. So my tip is find a teacher to learn to meditate with, so that you have someone who's constantly in your ear, that's louder than your ego, louder than the voice saying, I'm not doing it right. It's there more often, and that you trust, that you'll listen to, that'll keep you going to, long enough to get it for yourself. Have a teacher until for yourself you are unwound from doing it right. Because look, this is the problem with high performers, that high performers already have enough results from the old way of doing it. The problem with it is, though, there's never enough. You're never there. You cannot get enough results to satisfy the machine that says, I need more results. And one of the hangups I run into, or one of the objections, two objections, or one is my it doesn't work for me, right? Second is I don't have the time, which is insane, because Instagram will be okay if you don't scroll it for 10 minutes, really.
Yeah.
They won't mind, or they might mind, but fuck them. You know what I mean? You have 10 minutes scrolling. But the real hang up is I'm afraid if I do it, I'll lose my edge. I won't be as driven. And that's true. You won't be as driven, but you'll get to choose to produce results versus be driven to have to produce them. And that's a radical difference. I'm telling you, and when you train other people, this is why I got into this, because every coach is like, you got to be, you're not here to sell them, you're here to serve them. Okay, good, thanks. Now, the next word out of your manager's mouth is, how many did you sell today? Did you hit your target?
Yep.
Or even if it's not out of your manager's mouth, it's out of your bank account. Your bank account's not there to have you serve people. Your bank account needs you to sell people.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that. And so putting icing on mud doesn't make a cake. Mm-hmm. You actually have to get the mud transformed. You got to deal with, I have this concern and I'm here to serve people. And train your brain to focus where you want it to focus versus wherever it tells you it's going to focus.
Wherever it wants to go.
And it's going to want to go to the threat every time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why people have this intense level of anxiety all the time, because their mind is always on threat mode. They haven't learned how to train it to just chill out. And any athlete will tell you where the development comes, where the muscle growth comes, is in the rest, is in the recovery.
Right.
But you don't take 10 minutes to have your brain just recover.
So in your 9-week cohort protocol that you do, what is the frequency of meditation that you recommend? And yeah, I'm curious.
Do an hour a week together and then 10 minutes a day on their own. Maybe 20, some weeks are 20, but mostly it's 10 minutes a day. It's all guided meditations. You don't have to make anything up, and again, seasoned meditators listening, do whatever you normally do, and whatever works for you. You can't do it wrong. When you learn, this is the thing about kindness. Okay. When you learned how to walk, I don't know, you ever train a person to walk, baby?
No. Well, my kids, yes, but they sort of,
Yeah.
I just caught them. I hold their hand.
Okay. No, that's exactly right. You just caught them. Every time they stood up on their chubby little legs, Scott, you cheered.
Yeah.
And if they fell forward, you yelled for your wife to come in and see. They just walked. Yeah. Every attempt was met with a cheer.
Right.
When was the last time you learned something new and you cheered at every attempt you made?
Right.
Never.
Not since I was a kid.
Not since you were a kid. Were you in a presence of such unconditional loving kindness that when you learned how to walk, and that was and meditation or dialing or moving up a level from one price point to another, or recruiting, or whatever it is, whatever your target is, you're always bad at it till you're good at it.
Right.
And if you will just celebrate the attempts, you will get so much farther, so much faster than you will beating yourself up. But again, you have enough track record that beating yourself up will produce this level of success. The devil I know.
Right. It works to a point, but there's a cost to it.
There's a cost to it and there's a ceiling to it.
Yeah.
Look, when Tim Ferriss You know who Tim Ferriss is?
Yeah.
The guy who wrote 4 Hour Work
Mhm.
Week. He wrote a book called The Tools of Titans, which is he interviewed 200 or so of the world's top performing athletes, billionaires, like that, right? Top performing people. No one practice was more common, 80%, than having a mindfulness practice. 80% of the world's top performers do this. You can zig while they're zagging, knock yourself out, man. You try and get
Good
it
luck.
without a mindfulness practice, but 80% of them have trained their brain.
Mhm.
That's okay. And 10 minutes a day. The Buddhists say everyone should meditate for 20 minutes a day, unless you don't have time, and then you should do an hour.
Right.
Right. So 10 minutes a day is sufficient to get this started. And honestly, one breath. Just take a breath. Do it intentionally. Just feel your feet on the ground. This is what my feet feel like on the ground, because your feet are always in the present. Your body is always in the present. So if you can just connect to the sensations of what it feels like, you're now in the present.
Yeah,
You
that's
will
good.
see new shit to act on. I promise. When your stupid brain shuts down, it goes, okay, I'm here. I don't need to limit the options, because that's what fight, flight, or fright is doing. That's what the frustration is doing. It's limiting the options so that the pain goes away quickly.
Mhm.
Right? It's laser focused on the problem, doesn't see the wider range of scenarios available to us. And that's what meditation will provide for you, is allow you to see the big picture of everything that's available to you.
Right. Yeah, that's so good. Aaron, where can people find you online if they want to find out more about what you're doing or
Yeah,
your
sure. They can go to aaronhendon.com, and all my stuff is there. How to Live a Grateful Life in a Fucked Up World is the name of training, and that's there as well. And the book that's coming out on that will be out in the end of July sometime.
Amazing. And on the meditation, how often are you running these cohorts? Are people joining anytime?
Next one starts July 1st. I run them live. They run 9 consecutive weeks, and then I usually take a couple of week breaks. So I'll do 2 more this year. I'll use for a year.
Right.
And I recommend that, or going to someplace in your community that has an insight meditation center or a Zen center.
Yeah.
They all have free meditation classes.
Amazing. This has been so great. I really appreciate it.
Scott, I love talking. I'm so glad you have an audience that's interested in this. It's just fabulous.
Hey, thanks again for listening, and hopefully you got some inspiration from my conversation with Aaron. I know I did. I'm a huge believer in the power of mindset and how it can have a profound effect on your outcome. And one of the things that we do here at Rhode Island Mortgage Brokering is a daily mindset call, so Mortgage Mindset Daily. We've been doing this since January of this year, and if you're interested, if you want to fine tune or tune up your thinking to improve your business, I'd love you check that out. You can either hit me up on social or click on the show notes. You'll find a link to that. Come check it out. There's some amazing brokers on there. We're there every day, 5 days a week, and it's been such a fantastic community. Check that out. Thanks again for listening. And as I always say, there's no problem in your mortgage business someone else hasn't already solved. Your problem is finding the answer when you need it. This podcast is designed to provide some of those answers. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.